Hi everyone, it's Charlie. Today we're going to be exploring the Junior Flowers badge. Flowers cheer us up whether we're seeing them outside, smelling their scent in a candle, sending someone a bouquet, or painting and drawing them. But there's more to flowers than just pretty colors and enticing scents. Follow this video to learn some simple steps for exploring flowers anytime you want. When you've earned this badge, you'll know all the wonderful things about flowers and how to learn more. Here is the overview of the steps that we'll be covering today. Step 1, we'll uncover the science of one flower, aka we're going to become a botanist. Step 2, we're going to look under the petals and learn the parts of flowers. Step 3, find out how flowers help people. Step 4, have fun with flowers. And step 5, send a message in flower code. If you didn't already know, a botanist is an expert in or a student of the scientific study of plants. So today, while we're all earning this badge, we're all going to become botanists because we are a student of the scientific study of plants. Step 1. Uncover the science of one flower. Make a botanist notebook to track your findings through your adventure. After you have your notebook prepared, number each page and copy the following onto every other page using a pen. You'll want to record what the date was, where you saw this flower, and then you're going to write a description of what the flower looked like. The color, the leaves, was it skinny, was it tall? And then you're going to leave at least half the page blank so you can do a drawing or a pressing of the flower. Remember our leave no trace principles. You don't want to pick a flower if it doesn't belong to you. Leaving every other page blank allows you space to write more notes if you would like. Here are the steps for making a botanist notebook. Materials. You'll need a pencil for writing all of your notes. You'll also need either a small pre-bound notebook, like any kind of notebook you would use for school, or blank white copy paper, about 4 to 6 pages, and a stapler or hole punch and yarn. If you don't have a pre-bound notebook, what you're going to do is you're going to make one using your white paper. Fold your papers in half so that the short ends are touching each other, taco, not burrito style, and then you're either going to place a couple of staples along the fold, which is the spine, or you're going to hole punch a couple of places, maybe 2 or 3, and thread your yarn through loosely, don't make it too tight, to hold your pages together. First step, whenever we're creating something new, put your name in it. So you're going to put your name, and then you'll label your pages. And then that's it. You've got your botanist notebook, and you're ready to explore. Parts of flowers, examining a cross-section. First of all, what is a cross-section? A cross-section is the parts and or area that exposed by cutting something in half so that we can see what the inside is. You'll see the picture on the side over there is a cross-section of a flower so we can see the inside of what's going on. Here we can see a mature flower. A mature flower just means something that is grown all the way. There are different parts of the flower that you can explore. If you want to get more information on what the different parts of the flowers do a Google search. You can find lots of information from both local and national websites that are reliable that'll tell you what each different part, like a stigma or a style or an anther, is, and also what they do and how they help the flowers. Once you've done your research, take it offline. When you're done with this presentation, you'll be going outside and observing. Make sure that you take your botanist notebook with you and also your pencil. Not your pen, but your pencil. Step 2. Let's look under the petals. Just like our bodies are working even though we can't see inside them, flowers are constantly busy underneath their pretty exterior. When you're doing your research, consider asking family or teachers, using an online library source or other internet website, check your local biopark, or search for other resources as well. For this step, you're going to choose one. You're going to do an experiment by dyeing a flower using water and food coloring, or you're going to use your senses by taking a walk outside, finding some flowers to smell, taking notes in your botanist notebook, and then exploring online or with family what it is that makes you smell what you smell inside a flower. And your third option is called It Runs in the Family. You're going to learn about flower families. You're going to pick one you like, and then you're either going to create a collage by drawing or taking photos to share with somebody else. Which option do you think sounds the best for you? Which one sounds the most enjoyable? If you can't pick just one, go ahead and do all three. Here's an example of dyeing flowers that I did at my house. Step 1. Gather your supplies. I've got a small vase, a couple of flowers, these ones I pulled from my strawberry plant, and I filled the little vase with water. Next, put a little food coloring into your water. Give it a really good stir. You can see that my food coloring was a little bit old because it left some sediment down at the bottom. Next, you're going to put your flowers into the water, and then you wait. Step number 3 is from about 2 hours later. You can see just barely the edge of the flower are turning green. And then in step 4, about 3 to 4 hours later, you can see that they're really starting to get some color. I'm going to leave my flower overnight, and then hopefully I'll be able to post a picture to social media tomorrow so that you can see what it looks like after it's had green for a long time. What colors are you going to do when you do your flower dyeing experiment? On to step 3. Here we're going to find out how flowers help people. Explore edible flowers or flowers that become edible. All fruit and berry trees or bushes produce flowers, and once those flowers are pollinated, they become fruits and berries that we see in the grocery store or sometimes in our front yards. Here are some examples of flowers that become fruits. Apples, oranges, strawberries, plums, peaches, apricots, tomatoes, and lemons. Also, some flowers are edible all by themselves. They're either used medicinally or you can make them a plate of food prettier with them. Also, some flowers are edible all by themselves. They can either be used medicinally or to make a plate of food prettier. Many you can even buy at the grocery store in the produce section. Not where all the flower bouquets are, but in the produce section. Here's some examples of flowers that are edible all by themselves. Dandelions, pansies, nasturtium, marigold, lavender, and zucchini blossom. You can also make tea with some flowers, and while all flowers can be made into tea, not all of them are enjoyable. Here's a couple that actually taste pretty good. Hibiscus, jasmine, and again, dandelion. We're also going to explore how flowers help heal. Ethnobotanists are people who study how plants heal people. They do clinical research to find out how different flowers, plants, and herbs can be made into medicines. Clinical research is when research is done in a lab through peer-reviewed studies, and there are many, many guidelines that are set in place to make sure that the results that we get from them are factual and efficient. Aromatherapy is the thought or practice that believes that the scents of flowers can help people feel better. And this can either be in candles, bath bombs, essential oil diffusers, or fresh flowers. Think about the last time you smelled lavender. Does it make you feel calm? What about rose? Pretty uplifting, right? Same thing with eucalyptus. Helps clear our sinuses. Note, please do not go out into nature or other people's yards and pick quote-unquote edible flowers. There's no way to determine what pesticides or animals have visited these places and may spread sickness. So we don't know if your normally edible flower is actually still edible. Edible Flowers Project. Choose an edible flower you can find in the store or that you already grow at home for that purpose, a flower that turns into a fruit, or a flower that can be used as a tea and make something really special for your family. Whichever option you choose, make sure to snap a photo and share it with all of us here at Girl Scouts of New Mexico Trails on social media. Here are some examples. Flowering fruit salad. Make a fruit salad out of seasonal fruits by cutting up the fruit into bite-sized pieces and tossing with a splash of lemon juice and a sprinkling of sugar to get the flavor just right. Don't have fresh fruit at home? Canned is just fine. Make sure you pick something that you like the flavors of. Personally, I like oranges, pineapples, and peaches together. Enjoy your fruit salad with some sun tea that you brew by the power of the sun, or homemade whipped cream. And also, if you don't have homemade whipped cream, store-bought is just as good. Second option, flowering cheese plate. Choose at least 2 kinds of cheese, a hard cheese like cheddar and a soft cheese like brie, and cut them into bite-sized pieces. You're going to place these on a cutting board, a tray, a nice plate, anything you like. If you eat meat, pair your cheese with peppered turkey, salami, summer sausage, or whatever you have on hand. Garnish the plate with something crunchy. Crackers, nuts, sesame sticks, whatever you like. Finish off the plate with a dip or a jam, and then finally, place your edible flowers of choice around and throughout your arrangement. Make sure when you serve it that you let people know they can eat the flowers too. Flowering tea for 2. Brew a pot of chamomile and lavender or hibiscus or whichever planted and flower tea you choose, and then serve with honey, locally sourced if you can, because we've got to support our local pollinators, and scones with peach or apple or orange or apricot preserves. See the theme we were trying to go for there? Again, we hope you enjoy this. Share with us if you can. Maybe, like me, you prefer to see a visual versus reading a bunch of words. Here, we'll show you a couple of edible flowers. On the chart, you can see dahlias, violas, rose, fuchsia, things we didn't mention before. The next photo you'll see is a picture of an apple blossom on an apple tree with an apple. What other flowers can you think of that become fruits that we have right here in our own backyards? Hint, one of them is also a vegetable. It's green chili. Next, here's an example of a cheese plate. This one's super simple. We've got some carnations, some little tiny daisies maybe, strawberries, berries, crackers, salami, and cheese. Next, pretty picture of a bowl of fruit salad. I didn't even think about it before, but blueberries are always in season in summer. I think I have that same bowl in my house. Last picture we've got, that's a picture from my own front yard. It's a picture of my strawberry plant. There's a couple of flowers you can see there, and then when the petals fall away, that's where the strawberry comes from, that little green dot. Onward to step 4, have fun with flowers. Now that we've explored some science behind flowers, let's create something non-edible with them. First option, dried flowers. You're going to press some flowers until they lay flat using a book or some boards or some paper, and then, with an adult's help, iron them between 2 pieces of wax paper, or, carefully, use clear packing tape to create a keepsake. This can be a bookmark, a keychain, anything you want. You can also tie a small bouquet of flowers together, hang them upside down in the sun until they're dry, and then use them to decorate your house. This is actually how sage bundles are made. Don't have access to any real flowers near your home? Not a problem. Create an imposter bouquet by making flowers out of paper, cardstock, tissue paper, paper plates, whatever you have on hand. Or draw, paint, or doodle a flower bouquet or an outdoor scene and gift it to a friend to brighten their day. Here are a couple of simple diagrams to help you on your flower drawing journey. There's a lot of great tutorials out there on YouTube or on the internet, or you can ask your friends who do what's called bullet journaling if they have any tips for drawing simple doodle flowers. For our 5th and final step, we're going to be sending a message in flower code. Flowers are often used as symbols to send a specific message, which can differ by country but is mostly universal. Think about what it means when you get a bouquet of red roses. You can send a message via a bouquet with real or imposter flowers, a corsage, or a card. So what's the difference between a bouquet and a corsage? A bouquet is a bunch of flowers with leaves and stems still attached, held together with ribbon or wire that's wrapped around the stems. A corsage is a brooch or a bracelet made of flowers that is usually worn for special occasions such as a dance, a church event, or graduation. Stems of the flowers are cut to 2 to 4 inches long, and then they're also wrapped with wire or ribbon. Both corsages and bouquets can have more than one kind of flower and additional leaves or greenery in them. So what are flowers trying to say? The language of flowers actually dates back to the Victorian age when it was quite the hot hobby. But nowadays, your flower message can be interpreted by both what type of flower and what color of flower you choose. The meanings have only changed slightly, and a lot of times you can find them in a lot more long-form form. Here, we've tried to include just a few and to keep it as short and simple as possible. For example, when we're choosing both the type and the color of our flower, you might choose a yellow rose for friendship or a red rose for true love. Let's talk about colors first. Red flowers symbolize courage, respect, constancy, admiration, and love, either familial, platonic, or romantic. Pink flowers are for gentleness, happiness, and love, also a symbol of grace and innocence. Blue flowers symbolize peace, serenity, and openness. Yellow flowers for happiness, joy, the bonds of friendship, and a taste of success and pride. An orange flower symbolizes bold, passionate, and full of life. They speak of enthusiasm, excitement, and exuberance. A green flower, or plant, is the optimism of renewal, of spring, and of youthfulness. It's a wish for good fortune and for good health to somebody else. Purple flowers are for royalty. They symbolize dignity, tradition, and success. They're symbols of admiration and adoration. Purple flowers are what you might send your mentor. Now let's talk types. Here are just a very, very small sampling of flowers and a couple of their meanings. Asters symbolize patience. Carnations symbolize pride and beauty. Many carnations have different meanings based on their colors. Daffodils symbolize regard and chivalry or unrequited love. Fun fact, a single daffodil foretells misfortune, while a bunch of daffodils indicates joy and happiness. A daisy symbolizes innocence and purity. It conveys loyal love and I will never tell, keeping secrets. An iris symbolizes eloquence. Purple irises are symbolic of wisdom and compliment, while a blue iris symbolizes faith and hope. A peony, which is a cousin to the rose, symbolizes bashfulness and compassion. It can also be used to express indignation and shame, maybe something you would send somebody to apologize for your behavior. Queen's Anne lace symbolizes a haven or sanctuary, and a rose symbolizes love in its various forms. Obviously, though, symbolism varies based on color. Lastly, a sunflower signifies pure thoughts, adoration, and dedication. If I was thinking of sending a bouquet or a corsage or drawing a card for somebody in this time of our COVID-19 pandemic, I would probably send them something along the lines of a yellow rose for friendship to let them know I'm thinking of them, a sunflower to tell them that I'm dedicated to our friendship, and maybe, probably the aster. Because purple, which is what asters are, looks really good with yellow, and also patience, that we'll see each other again soon. Because sunflowers have more than one meaning based on their color or their type, if you're ever worried about sending somebody the wrong message, you can always just do your research first. There's lots of great resources out there, including the Almanac. Or you can also talk to a friend who works in a florist shop. They know all of this by heart pretty much. Or they have it written down. And that's all, folks. Thank you for joining us so much while we explored the Junior Flowers Badge, and now it's time for you to take your new knowledge and put it to the test. How can you use it to help friends and family who may be struggling during this time? We don't have to spend money or physical time with people to tell them that we love them or that we're thinking of them. So, are you going to make a card? Are you going to make tea for two? What are you going to do next? Don't forget to share your creations with the rest of us here at GSNMT by uploading and tagging us on social media. You can find us on Instagram at @NMGirlScouts, same thing on Twitter @NMGirlScouts, and on Facebook at facebook.com/NMGirlScouts. And of course, you can always find us on our website at www.nmgirlscouts.org.